Brooklyn Beckham is the eldest son of David and Victoria Beckham. He has started a new television show, Cooking with Brooklyn. In today's video, we are going to discuss why people are hating Brooklyn Beckham. Stay tuned to find out. The Cooking with Brooklyn is an 8-minute episode that created a fish finger sandwich. Brooklyn regulates an assembly of chefs preparing the ingredients. He sits inside the camera, completely deadpan, and informs his audience that with sandwiches, you can go so many different ways. It really does help to be creative. Many people are wondering whether this show is the perfections of everything that's wrong with our society. Well, Brooklyn Beckham is wealthy. He's an entertaining celebrity child type of rich. Someone that spends winters skiing in Whistler and spring bobbing around the Caribbean on a super yacht with his godfather Elton John. The boy that falls in love with the successor to a billion-dollar fortune and spends £9 million on his starter home in Beverly Hills. It was inevitable that the time would come when Brooklyn would have to venture out into the big bad world and mix his own manner. Brooklyn has become massive. His lack of any apparent skill was as nothing to his inherited skill to have doors open for him. This also makes people mad, as we sit around wondering how we'll handle inflations and the cost of living crisis. The exhibitions of Brooklyn pretending on TV to make a career as something other than a celebrity crumbles on many people. Brooklyn dreamed of himself as a photographer, and age 17 he got himself a photography book deal. The pictures were a collection of the world through his eyes. He also featured a fishing trip with his family. He even dabbled in environmental activism after getting inspired by the elephants. In Kenya, he met Sir David Attenborough. Soon after, he also did a super dry campaign supporting sustainability. Promoting the campaign coincided with COP26. When asked in an interview what he made of the event, Brooklyn looked blank until the journalist said that it was a big climate conference in Glasgow. Even as a professional, he stayed unfazed. Then came cooking. There was the bacon and egg sandwich he cooked for an audience on Good Morning America, followed by a folk tutorial in which he cooked creamy, cheesy pasta for his lactose-intolerant fiancé. If you're liking this content so far, please consider subscribing and liking this video. Now, let's continue. Well, is Brooklyn actually secretly in on the joke, as people often believe Paris Hilton was? Or is he trying to reveal how far you can go with very little talent but the right parents in our modern, utterly non-meritocratic society? We think it should not be like this. His lack of self-awareness appears absolute, as he is the unfiltered product of being popular from birth. Now, £70,000 from an 8-minute cooking tutorial is insane and terrible, but we cannot blame Brooklyn. The sooner we come to terms with the truth, the sooner we can make peace with it. The super rich people can make money out of anything. Brooklyn Beckham has previously announced that he was releasing a photography book. The young man has had a great passion towards photography and admits that he prefers being the viewfinder side of the camera as opposed to the lens side. However, he has received a huge amount of criticisms in his early career. There are various reasons for this hate, but it starts with the insensibility that underpins it all. A lion's share of the negativity stems from the apparent fear of nepotism. The problem lies in the unwitting conflation of the nepotism that Brooklyn Beckham may have profited from, and the human being himself and his work. By all means, criticize the publishing house for preferring to print Beckham's book over seasoned and highly creative photographers of lesser-known families. Well, people should criticize the individuals involved in cashing in on Beckham's fame through his passion. They should criticize the myriad outlets that will promote and honor the work without proper inquiry just because his name alone is a click magnet. However, we can't accept the hate for an 18-year-old photographer and his work just because he has taken the great opportunities his family name affords him. This young man has had the greatest amount of fortunes after being born into a family of great means and influence. It is possibly fair to say that he has seen ordinary examples of nepotism to modifying degrees and is probably going to continue seeing them. That unfair treatment is reason for concern, and there's also a discussion. What isn't guaranteed is a very young artist beginning on a long journey in his favorite profession and having to overcome criticism that battle-hardened photographers 3 times his age would battle to weather. To those who are flicking through his book and mocking the pictures without a reminder of constructive criticism or compassion, show some class and wage war on nepotism, not a young man's passions and its roots. You really wouldn't treat an unknown photographer of the same age in this way, and this unusual form of inverse nepotism does nothing to cure the real problem and accepts no positive outcome that we can find. With that being said, it's time to end our today's video. Press the like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stuff.